Hi everybody, and welcome to the Kentucky 4-H Virtual Experience. Today we're going to talk about SET, or Science, Engineering, and Technology. My name is Torey Earle, and I am an Extension Specialist for 4-H Youth Development with the University of Kentucky College of Agriculture, Food and Environment Cooperative Extension Service. Today in Part 2 of our Kentucky 4-H Virtual Experience looking at the 4-H Aerospace project, you're going to take the Stomp rocket launcher that you built in Part 1 and you're going to build a high-powered paper rocket to launch from that launcher. Please keep in mind that this activity should be done outside and in a safe open area. Now let's move in to building our rocket. The things that you'll need for Part 2, building your high power rocket, are on the table. First, you'll need 2 or 3 pieces of cardstock. You can use any color you want to, 8.5 by 11 size. You'll probably want to have some templates for making your nose cone and for making your fins. Now, I do want to give a thanks to the folks with the Challenger Learning Center for providing these templates for us, or you can choose to create your own fins and your own nose cone. You'll probably want to have a pair of scissors handy to cut out your fins and your nose cone, and also do a little trimming on any of the tape that you might need to. You'll want to have 1 piece of your 12-inch PVC half-inch diameter pipe from your Stomp rocket launcher. You'll need some clear cellophane tape, and you'll also need some clear packing tape as well. To get started, the first thing you're going to have to decide is, do you want your rocket tall or do you want your rocket short? Either way is perfectly acceptable. It's just up to you to decide. I'm going to make a short rocket. So I'm going to take the piece of PVC pipe from my launcher and I'm just going to start rolling it, or rolling my cardstock around the piece of PVC pipe, trying to keep it pretty snug around it in order to form the body of my rocket. Now, I keep rolling like this. It's fairly snug. Then I'm going to take 1 piece, small piece of the cellophane tape and tape that seam together. Now, it's still open here and we're going to use the packing tape to seal that. I tear me off a piece my packing tape, and then I'm going to seal that seam all the way down my rocket, and be careful not to tape your rocket body to the PVC pipe, otherwise you won't be able to launch it. I take my scissors and trim off the end of the packing tape. Put it to the side. Same thing at the other end. Trim off the end of my packing tape. Put it to the side. So there may be places we can use it later. And then just smooth the packing tape down. This gives you a nice tube, which is the body of your rocket. And you may want to check to see that it slides over the piece of PVC pipe easily, because this is the size of your launch tube and you don't want your rocket to be too small to fit on the tube, or you don't want it to be too big so it lets air out when you launch. So now we have our rocket body tube. The templates that we have for our nose cone and for our fins again have been provided by the Challenger Learning Center, and these are best printed on cardstock. I will actually provide you a link to where you can download these. But printed on cardstock will make them very sturdy to put onto your rocket. As you can see, I've already cut my nose cone template out, and I've cut my fin templates out that I want to use. Now you can choose to use 2 fins, 3 fins, 4 fins, how many ever you want to. And again, you can design your own if you would like to do that. For these purposes, I'm going to use these, show you how to assemble the rocket, and we'll see how it launches after that. One of the things that you want to remember about your rocket body is, as it slides onto the launch tube, air is going to be forced up through the tube itself. So one end of your rocket body is going to need to be sealed really well. You don't want to seal both ends or you wouldn't be able to put it on the launch tube. So I'm going to take another small piece of my packing tape and I'm going to put it over one end of my rocket tube. Like that. See, that seals that end. Then we'll press it down to make sure we get a good seal on our rocket. So that way no air leaks out, and we can slide the other end over our launch tube. Now you may ask, well, why didn't we just tape the nose cone together and put it on there? There's going to be enough air pressure coming out of the Stomp rocket launcher that it would actually blow the nose cone off and your rocket wouldn't go anywhere. You can try it and see, but that's the experience that I've had. Now, to form the nose cone, you want to make sure you've got some of your cellophane tape handy. You'll take one end of your nose cone template that you've cut out, put it under the other side, like this, and it starts to form a cone. As you push those together, the best way I've found is to just start rolling it up, kind of like an ice cream cone would roll up. If any of you have ever seen waffle cones made at a local ice cream shop, this is how they do it. They just roll them up and make sure that they fit snug. I roll this up just a little tighter here because you want to roll it up to where it just fits over your rocket body. Get it a little tighter. We'll slide over there like that. I still like to get them just a little tighter than that. There we go. Now, that's just going to fit over our rocket body. So I'm going to take a small piece of my cellophane tape and tape that around so our cone stays together. Then we'll fit it onto our rocket body. Take another small piece of the cellophane tape just to tape it on. Then you want to make sure that you also get it nice and straight, because if you get the nose cone a little crooked, your rocket may fly crooked. Then I want to take some more of my packing tape. You notice I use the packing tape quite a bit because it is very sturdy and it holds your rocket together very well. You're going to take that packing tape and try to keep as many wrinkles out of it as possible. Wrap it around the bottom of your nose cone and seal it well. Press it down on there like this. Now, As air goes in, the top of our rocket body tube is sealed, so no air should come out. So you shouldn't have to worry about blowing your nose cone off as you would launch your rocket. I'm going to set that right there, and we're going to concentrate on our fins. The fin design that I cut out is totally different than what you may do, but one thing I do want to indicate to you from the fins on the template. You'll notice that it's got a flat piece on the side of the fin that will fit toward the body, like so, and there is a little line on that tab that you'll take your scissors and just cut that line, and then fold one tab to one side and fold the other tab to the other side. What that does, that gives you two flat pieces. Those two flat pieces will then fit right onto your rocket body, and you can tape your fin on. I'm going to take a piece of the cellophane tape, and then I will use the packing tape again, but I put one on one tab. I put one on the tab on the other side, and then I'm going to very carefully put my fin onto my rocket, like that. Now when I get all my fins on, I will actually put the packing tape on either side of it to hold it on straight. As you place your fins on your rocket, you want to think about spacing them evenly around the rocket as well. I have 3 fins, so if I was looking at my rocket like this, have one straight up, and if I want them evenly spaced, I'm going to have to put one at an angle down here and one at an angle on the other side. If I was using 4, they would probably come straight out, and straight out this side. So depending on the number of fins you use will depend on your spacing of those fins around your rocket. So what I'm going to do is place that one right there. And then I'm going to go about halfway between those two and place this one right here. Trying to keep them as straight as possible so we don't have our rocket wobbling all over the place. And that's what it's going to look like when you get your fins on. Now, again, your design may be a little different. You may choose to put the fins up higher on the rocket body. You may choose to make them stick out a little bit past the bottom. You may use 4, you may use 2, you may use 6, I don't know. But that will totally be up to you as far as your design goes. What I'm going to do now is place the packing tape on here and seal everything up. As you finish up your rocket design, we'd like to see some of the designs that are out there. So don't hesitate to send us a note, provide some pictures, provide some video of you and your family building your rockets, and we're going to take this out and see how it launches. As we've moved outside to do our launching, we've actually recruited a young NASA astronaut to help us with the launch. So let's see how it goes, and we'll do a couple of launches and see what happens.
did it land, Dad?
I think it's stuck in the tree. Well, how did it do? What did you discover? Did you think of ways you might improve your rocket if you want to launch it again? Did you think of a new design that you might want to try on a different launch? Whatever your result was, you did create something from scratch and you did rocket science. Plus, you were able to think through problems, you were able to use design to create something, and hopefully you had a little fun with it too. I hope you've enjoyed the two-part series on the 4-H Aerospace project for the Kentucky 4-H Virtual Experience. Thank you for joining me today for the Kentucky 4-H Virtual Experience focused on science, engineering, and technology. For more information about any of the Kentucky 4-H projects or programs, please check out your local University of Kentucky Cooperative Extension Office.